Hallo, ich bin's, Robin, Deutschlehrer mit Core Languages, and today I decided to go for a little walk through the park. Have you ever gone for a little walk through the park? You probably have. And you're probably wondering, why am I asking you? Well, if I make a sentence with have you gone, I use what's called the present perfect, and I know what you're thinking. Another present perfect video? Why are there so many present perfect videos? Because there are so many German verbs. The verb to go for a walk, in German spazieren gehen, is what's called a separable prefix verb, which means when I conjugate it, the prefix separates from the stem and moves to the end of the sentence. For example, ich gehe im Park spazieren. Spazieren move to the end of the sentence. And what happens when I make the same sentence but in the present perfect? Well, this is what today's video is about. I will show you how to use the present perfect with separable prefix verbs so that you can incorporate them into your German sentences. I would say, los geht's und viel Spaß beim Deutschlernen.
Separable prefix verbs in the present perfect. Separable prefix verbs are verbs that have prefixes attached to their stem or the root of the verb. By adding a separable prefix, the meaning changes slightly. Typically, these prefixes are prepositions, but not always. Common separable prefixes are ab, an, auf, aus, bei, ein, mit, nach, vor, and zu. To form the present perfect, we need to add the syllable ge to form the past participle. For separable prefix verbs, the syllable ge goes between the separable prefix and the stem. For example, ich habe ausgeschlafen. The verb is ausschlafen, which is to sleep in. The participle is ausgeschlafen. I have slept in. Wir sind mitgekommen. We have come along. The verb is mitkommen, and the participle is mitgekommen. Das Mädchen hat die Tür aufgemacht. The girl has opened the door. The verb is aufmachen, and the participle is aufgemacht. Here are some of the most common separable prefixes and their English translation. Ab, an, auf, aus, bei, durch, ein, fest, her, hin, hoch, los, mit, nach, vor, weg, weiter, wieder, zu, zurück. To form a sentence in the present perfect, we need a subject, a conjugated haben or sein, and a past participle. There are different categories of verbs in German: regular, irregular, and mixed verbs. Regular verbs, which are verbs that have no vowel changes or spelling changes in their stem when conjugated in different tenses, form the past participle by adding the syllable ge, and they end on the letter T. Most regular verbs take the helping verb haben to form the present perfect. Separable prefix verbs can be regular verbs, in which case the syllable ge is placed between the separable prefix and the stem. For example, zum Beispiel zumachen. to close or to shut. To form the past participle of zumachen, we place ge between the separable prefix zu and the stem mach and the ending t. Zugemacht. Der Junge hat das Fenster zugemacht. The boy has shut the window or has closed the window. Separable prefix verbs can also be irregular, which means that there are some vowel or spelling changes in the stem of the verb when conjugated in different tenses. An irregular verb doesn't form its participle with the ending t, but with the ending en. Just like regular verbs, the syllable ge is placed between the separable prefix and the stem if the verb is a separable prefix verb. For example, zum Beispiel, vorlesen, to recite or to read out loud. Lesen is an irregular verb. Vor is the separable prefix, and to form the past participle of vorlesen, we place ge between vor, les, and en. Vorgelesen. Das Mädchen hat schön vorgelesen. The girl has recited beautifully, or the girl has read out loud beautifully. Separable prefix verbs can also be mixed verbs. Mixed verbs are verbs that have a vowel or spelling change in their stem when conjugated in different tenses. This is something they have in common with irregular verbs, but unlike irregular verbs, mixed verbs do not add en to the end of their past participle, but they add the letter t, which is something they have in common with regular verbs. All mixed verbs except rennen, to run, form the present perfect with haben. For example, zum Beispiel mitbringen, to bring along. The past participle of mitbringen is mitgebracht. Wir haben Wein mitgebracht. We have brought along wine. Here are some examples of separable prefix verbs that form the present perfect with the auxiliary verb haben. These are mostly action verbs. For example, einarbeiten. Einarbeiten has many translations, and it could be loosely translated to break in, as in to become familiar with work. Ich habe eingearbeitet. I have broken in, or I have gotten familiar with work. Abspielen, to play back. Du hast abgespielt. You have played back. Aufhören, to stop. Es hat aufgehört. It has stopped. Zuhören, to listen. Sie haben zugehört. You, sir, or you, ma'am, have listened. Ausrechnen, to calculate. Wir haben ausgerechnet. We have calculated. Beitragen, to contribute. Ihr habt beigetragen. You have contributed. Einsammeln, to collect. Sie haben eingesammelt. They have collected. Here are some examples of separable prefix verbs that form the present perfect with sein. These are often verbs that indicate movement from one place to another. For example, ausreisen, to depart or to travel out. Ich bin ausgereist. I have departed or I have traveled out. Einwandern, to immigrate. Du bist eingewandert. You have immigrated. Rauskommen, to come out. Es ist Rausgekommen. It has come out. Nachkommen. To come after or to follow. Sie sind nachgekommen. You, sir, or you, ma'am, have come after or have followed. Zurückgehen. To go back. Wir sind zurückgegangen. We have gone back. Weglaufen. To run away. Ihr seid weggelaufen. You have run away. Feststehen. To stand firm. Sie sind festgestanden. They have stood firmly. Let's practice. Üben wir. Try to complete the following two sentences by choosing between auswandern, to emigrate, and weitergehen, to continue in the present perfect. Ich vor einem Jahr. The correct verb is auswandern, and the sentence is Ich bin vor einem Jahr ausgewandert. I have immigrated a year ago. Wir sind weiter gegangen. We have continued going or walking. Try to complete the following sentence by choosing the correct participle of nachschlagen, which is to look up. Ich habe das Wort im Wörterbuch nachgeschlagen or nachgeschlagt. The correct participle is nachgeschlagen. I have looked up the word in the dictionary. And how about this example? Choose the correct participle of einsteigen, to board or to get on. Du bist gerade einstiegen or eingestiegen. The correct participle is eingestiegen. Du bist gerade eingestiegen. You have just boarded or you have just gotten on.
Vielen Dank fürs Zusehen. I hope you now have a better understanding of how to form the present perfect with separable prefix verbs. As always, if you have more questions, feel free to comment, or if you're interested in joining one of our German courses with a live instructor, feel free to message us directly. Das war's, vielen Dank und bis zum nächsten Mal.